when we talk about the bigger picture of, for example, good fiscal management of the economy, or we talk about good debt management, or we talk about growing the economy. And these are all part of the solutions, part of the dimension of the bigger solution. But it may not be appreciated at the personal and the local level. And so it is when we talk about resilience. This characteristic, this substance of any system to be able to absorb shocks, recover from shocks, but recover stronger. That's essentially resilience. Resilience has become a feature of the Jamaican economy and society in the last decade. And to the audience gathered here, and those listening online, and those who will hear this presentation if it is carried in the media, I invite you to consider the number of shocks that Jamaica has experienced. You will immediately conclude that shocks are a way of life for Jamaica, for any country, but for a small island developing state, we are vulnerable. We are price takers, so we are always vulnerable to economic conditions globally. We are in a hurricane zone, so we are vulnerable to weather events. We're impacted by climate change, by sea level rise, we're an island state. We're going to be affected by shocks. We're vulnerable to health shocks as we were with the pandemic. Now, for the last 50 years of shocks, consider how long it would take us to recover from the shock. So, the last major hurricane we had, it took us more than a year to recover before Beryl. The last major global financial shock that we had in 2008, 2009, it took us 10 years for our GDP to recover. Now consider the shocks that we have had in the last decade and how quickly we have recovered. Let's take the pandemic. Pandemic hit, and we have had nothing like this before, and we recovered our GDP in about 3 years. Resilience. But more than that, we were able, in this last major shock, to address the fallout without borrowing. We were able to launch a national response right away, because built into our fiscal management were buffers and insurance, which obviated the need to borrow to respond to a crisis. Today we sit in this room almost oblivious, except for the event that last year this time the island was impacted by the fastest and earliest forming Category 5 hurricane. Resilience. So that is now a feature of the Jamaican economy. What we want to do is to make it a feature of the Jamaican society. So we want to move it out of the ethereal hemisphere, where this is just some big word that politicians use, to get it down to the community level, where the average household understands that hurricanes, other weather disasters, and economic shocks are a part of life, and how we structure our household business is such that when it strikes, not only the national economy can withstand and recover, but my household can recover. So, for me, the most important thing that we have achieved is community training on good roofing practices, reaching more than 6,000 people. Because as I flew over the areas that were hit, what was striking is that one roof will be on intact, and right beside it, another is gone. And when you land and you go and inspect, which I did, the roofs that were intact, they were properly built. They were built with resilience in mind. Simple things like putting on the roof straps. The choice of roof design and roofing materials. That's what we mean when we say we want to build resilience in the society. So the decisions we make about what we consume, how we construct, how we organize our infrastructure, how we build our community response. If the Brents community group did not exist, could those communities in St. Elizabeth respond so quickly? Could we say that they were resilient? And therefore, how we organize as a society is also a part of building resilience. So I departed from my script. Let me go back to my script. So, let me also acknowledge the Jamaican diaspora, whose unwavering solidarity continues to be a cornerstone of our national resilience. Whether through financial contributions, in-kind support, or advocacy abroad, your engagement reminds us that Jamaica's strength extends far beyond its borders. Importantly, this experience has reaffirmed a critical truth. Partnership is a necessity. That is why we're not only celebrating collaboration, we are also committed to formalizing and strengthening these partnerships, embedding them into our national disaster risk governance framework for the long term. To all our executing partners, your exceptional stewardship and accountability deserves recognition. That 96% fund utilization rate is not merely a figure, it is a testament to what is possible when we manage with integrity and deliver with purpose. As we look to the future, the government remains unwavering in its commitment to building a smarter, safer, and more climate-resilient Jamaica. But that vision cannot be achieved by the government alone. We must adapt a whole-of-society approach where we mobilize the resources, insights, and energy of the private sector, academia, local authorities, NGOs, multilateral institutions, and our citizens. And let us never forget, in times of crisis, the things that unite us: our values, our resilience, and our love for country. So today is a celebration of what we have accomplished, and also a declaration of what we intend to build together. Let us seize this moment to reaffirm our collective responsibility to a Jamaica that is better, bolder, and more inclusive and more prepared. Let us not be defined by what we have endured, but by how we rise, rebuild, and reimagine Jamaica together. Thank you, and continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our formal program, and I hope the word of the day and the word of the next weeks, months, but certainly based on what our Prime Minister has said, that should be the hallmark of Jamaica is resilience. And we at NCB can attest to the power of resilience. And the fund that was launched a year ago and the fund that we have celebrated today speaks to partnerships around helping entities, families, communities to be resilient. And we're so proud of everybody's contribution to the effort. And the celebration today has been worth the time. Can I get an amen? Amen. So we invite you to stay and enjoy the refreshments, connect with fellow partners, and take in the visual exhibits. We have some visual displays for your own room. And please stay safe and have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you very much.
I'll go. Will you be in touch? I'll get your contact from
Ambassador, they want a picture with him by the sign right here.
Yes. Before you know.
Ask Naomi?
Yeah, I can guide him with it.
Okay.
I said it's up.
Naomi. They want to sign right here. Okay, so where are you?
I'm right here, but I'm waiting until you move, right? Sorry.
Yeah, man, and we can discuss the details. And I'll speak to my mom as well because we'll also have